Hi everyone, my name is Heather and I'm the person behind Happy Puppy Truffles. Today I wanted to share with you guys a fun little project that you can do by using the traditional balloon and the box that I've shown you guys with the connecting lid and create kind of like your very own origami snake. And this is supposed to be kind of just a fun project. It'd be a great thing to do with kids. Making the box and the balloon are not too difficult, and you could really have a lot of fun using lots of different colors. You could make it a snake, you can make it a caterpillar, lots of different things you could do. But it is a craft origami project, so you're going to need a few things to kind of make everything come together. What I've got here are a few different pieces that I'm going to use, the balloons that are going to be the body of my snake. And you know, I want to just kind of keep things lined up here, just make it easy to kind of connect that way. And then I have this last piece here to serve as the tail section, kind of just to taper things off at the end a little bit. You could certainly choose to do it a little differently if you wanted to. That's kind of just the way I was going to set things up for fun this time around. I used taunt paper just because I think the colors are so pretty from this, and you get a really nice thick kind of project when you're done. So that's kind of what I was working with here for this part. But and then I have the head part here, which is made out of a box, like I said, with the connecting lid. So you can see he's kind of like a little chompy little snake. And then we're going to connect everything with a little bit of a bead in between each section, and also make the head piece too with some fangs and a little tongue. So basically I had pieces of, seven sheets of paper. These 5 were all the same, 15 by 15 centimeters, and then my box was 11.25 by 11.25, and I had 2 of those to make this little guy here. Just to give it a little more perspective so that it's not such a giant head. If you use a 15 by 15, it's a little too big. So I'm just going to first start off by making the head with the extra pieces I have in mind for this. So I'm just going to move some things out of the way for a second here. Now I have the head part here, and then I thought it would be neat. I have some of these little, sparkly, I don't know what you call these. They're not spangles? Is that what they're called? I should have looked this up before I said that. But I thought, hey, that kind of looks like a tooth. And I was just going to kind of anchor it up here to kind of create the illusion of a tooth there, and have 2 of them, so you can have the 2 teeth. And you can certainly play around with things if you want to, avoid using glue. You can just use tape. You can cut this so that you can bring the teeth closer together. I'm just going to leave it as it is and put a little bit of glue here on this top layer, and we're going to hope it sticks. I think it depends a little on the kind of glue you're using too, of course, but I'm just going to be taking this then, and on the inside of this box here, on this back edge, I'm just going to slide this right into it so that those legs of the star just come up, because I want this tooth to be kind of long. And this is just really a point of finding something around your house and using it. You don't have to always go to craft stores and buy things if you have some other stuff. This is just in my daughter's old bead box, and I thought, hey, I bet I could use this. So, but we'll just use 2 here to kind of create this cool illusion of teeth. Those nice little fangs that snakes sometimes have. So I'll get this other side done too. I mean, it really was just kind of like this amazing luck that it turned out to be, the same width there as the size of my box. And sometimes things like that just happen in the craft world, and you can be super happy that everything just fits together perfectly. But you can see now I've got my cool little fangs for my little snake. And then I thought it'd be fun to go ahead and make like a little bit of a tongue that comes out, kind of bounces out from the bottom part here. And I was just going to, again, use this and just use this two-part here because I thought that kind of looked like the prong tongue of a of the tongue part here. And what I did was I took, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar with how to make this. Let me kind of show you guys as I talk about it here. I took a couple of strips of the paper that I had left over from cutting this down from 11.25 and just did that simple overlapping fold, and it creates this really neat springy accordion kind of piece that I can then, and it has a neat texture to it. If you're not familiar with how to make this, let me show you guys really quick how to do it. So I have two pieces of paper, and you just essentially, you want them to be about the same width, and you just start with one overlapping the other, and then you just fold snug against that edge, keeping this side even too. And it's just a question of going back and forth, folding each way. You wind up folding, you know, every which way, and getting this to go all the way around. Now, if you kind of aren't, you know, keeping totally perfect with things, it has a tendency to kind of give a little bit of a spin to stuff. And, you know, if that, with what I was doing with the tongue, that didn't really matter that much, so I just didn't try too hard to keep it exactly, you know, on top of itself as I went along. But you can do it pretty quickly, just kind of feeling the edge of where you are. And then when you're finished, you just get this nice kind of combined accordion piece that you can then use for things. And so I've got my little guy here, and I thought I could just have him connected maybe to the center of the box down here, and then have on the other end this little pronged tongue area. Now I'm just going to go ahead in this case and cut down my little spangle here so that it's just the two parts that I want to use here. And then I can go ahead and connect that into this area with a bit of glue. And I'm just going to kind of be keeping my fingers crossed that this gets enough glue on it that it stays. I'm looking at this one end here that has a fair amount right there on top that can help me connect. Try to get it lined up as much as I can and put a little pressure. When I do, a bunch of glue oozes out a little bit there from the bottom. That's okay. I'm just going to clean that up a bit. Just give it a little time to dry, of course. In the meantime, while I'm kind of letting that rest up a second, I can, if I want to, sort of put a little bit of glue on the inside of here if you feel like that it's popping out weird. I don't know if many people are going to be even seeing the inside of this because it's the top part of his head, but I'm just going to put a little bit there to keep it down. And especially on this part, I'm going to do the same and make sure that the inside of his mouth is nice and secured so that I can then add the tongue. And what I'm going to do is actually leave it up a bit for a second. Give myself a chance to see here. I've got my tongue coming out here. There we go. Put a little bit of glue right there on this bottom edge. And I'm just going to keep both of these down, actually. I thought I might be able to overlap it, but I don't know if that's going to work so good. Maybe I can. Let me see. This might be a little hard to see, but I was hoping between this layer and the layers on the bottom here, I could kind of get a nice sandwiching between everything. So first, I'm just going to put the base down here. And then I can kind of have each of these guys come down too. So you can kind of get things anchored down in there and get this little tongue to stick out. And I'm hoping we can get him to be at the right angle so that the tongue just kind of sticks out like so. Gives a nice little effect of a tongue. And then, if I can, I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of little eyes on him. And I was just going to use some rhinestones that I happen to have, some deco rhinestones. And I thought I'd use red, because that will look kind of cool. And you know, if you've got some of these, I'm not sure what size to use here. Let's see here. So I'm just going to place these guys. I think I'll use this. I don't want it to be super huge. I'm going to use this one right here and have it be right on top. And you could even choose to have it sticking up a little bit. I'm going to have it just stick up a tiny bit to kind of create a cool little effect there. There we go. That gives us some cool little face for our snake. Looking pretty cool. And then I can go ahead and connect everything so that I get a nice finished part to my snake now too. So you're going to need a little bit of thread, like embroidery thread. That always works nice because it's nice and thick and you get to use a nice color too, and it's a nice sturdy kind of way to connect everything together here. This has been lying around somewhere. I don't know where the beginning is anymore. I think I'm just going to have to cut it here. And then I found some beads just lying around with my daughter's collection, and I know this one's a little darker, so I'm just going to use that at the beginning part right by the head, and then we're just going to kind of alternate between colors here. And the reason I've got the bead is because when you string a string through a balloon, the problem is that this hole is actually a giant gaping space. It doesn't look like it at first, but if you've ever tried to work with this, if you pull through hard enough and stuff, you can actually kind of get these spaces out of the way. If you get that part tucked down far enough, then it kind of allows too much shift. And I was hoping that by having a knotted string here, I'd be able to kind of prevent some of it from, you know, shifting around too much. So we'll give it a try here and see what happens. Let me get my needle. I'm just using, you know, a nice long needle to help me along, because that way hopefully I can pop it all the way through. I don't think I have anything longer. Oh yeah, I do. Here we go. That'll work better. Just so we don't run into any trouble of lost needles inside of balloons. That helps when you're trying to do this kind of a thing. But I'm just going to go ahead and start off actually first by threading the needle through and getting my first string started on the head. So you want to make sure you've got enough string, obviously, for the length of your snake. And then what will be the tail end of it, I'll tie off at the head. So if I open things up here gently, I want it to go right through the middle back wall. Just poke it through. And I just want to create a nice little knot here so that I can get this kind of finished off if I can. So I've made a little larger knot there so that hopefully when I pull this through, we won't have it go all the way through. There we go. And I have a little excess string back here. You can either just ignore it, try to tuck it, or tape it behind the back wall there of things. It's not really going to become something that matters later. And if anything, really, this head I know can be tricky because it has a tendency to always stay popped open. If you pull actually on this outer part and get it to stick out like this a little and create the pressure so that you get a mountain crease going out here, you can kind of pinch it off, and that'll help keep the flow so that the head stays more bent and down like this. So you can get this kind of a cool little effect here with everything. Get his tongue out of the way here. So I've got kind of the beginning part there, and then I do want to feed it through this bead. And I'm not going to be lucky. This needle's too fat, so I'll have to re-thread my needle here a few times, just because this particular bead is just a tiny bit too, has the hole that's a little too small. But we can just kind of get that first part through and then re-thread my needle so that I can then go through the first balloon. And I'm just going to go having it so that the, more tapered end is facing towards the tail section. Go ahead and put a hole through here, spin it around a little so that you're not pushing in so hard, you're just kind of allowing it to go through. And then you can see here, this is just going to come straight out. And then we can go ahead and put the string through the next bead. I'm just going to test it out first here and see. I think it's okay. Yeah. I was debating if I needed to do like a section of knots on either side, but I think I'm just going to let it be and go through this way. It looks like it's going to come together okay. So, and then I'm just going to keep going through here, and I happen to have two colors of green here. If you have, all the same colors, it won't matter, but I'm just alternating between so that I can get this stuff through and get all of these connected, and then we'll finish off with the tail at the end here. Let me get these all connected here if I can. So you can see how I've kind of got these all connected here, and then I'll just do the last connection to the tail, and then we can finish things off. And on this one, I'm just going to actually go with the opposite end. I'm going to go ahead and go through the whole end first, because this is a balloon that's not been blown up yet. And then I'm going to go ahead and pop out through the other end, just because I just want to tie off a tiny little bit of a tail finish to this. And if you had more beads, you could like put another bead here. That's kind of just up to you. But you want to make sure you don't have too much tension, but you want enough so that everything kind of looks good together. And then I'll just tie off this end here. And then we'll have our completed little snake. So when you're finished, you might have something that kind of looks like this, with your little snake in the front. And, he's kind of a little flexible, so you can kind of move him around any which way. And, have him all curled up if you want. Sleeping on your desk. I don't know if he's quite long enough. He just gets over to his tail, so. But just kind of a fun little thing you can enjoy. You can make him a little curvy. Lots of different things. Certainly if you made them longer, you could do a lot of fun stuff. I'm going to be kind of taking this similar kind of approach with a few different pieces and make a printable too for some snake patterns, because that, with summertime, I've been seeing a few snakes around when we go for a walk and stuff, so I know they're out there, they're harassing our chickens. I like to do that all the time, so. But just a fun little snake project for you guys to enjoy, and I'll have some more fun things to share with you guys in the days to come. Thanks again always so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye!